Alright guys, Adam here. It's time for a new playthrough on my channel. This time we're checking out a free Steam game called Depression Quest. From what I heard, it sort of simulates a person actually. I don't know if it's a male or female, that's suffering through depression. It's kind of like Central High, it sounds like. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go back to Central High. I might though if I get a virtual machine money again, but we'll see. But anyways, I had enough killing, because, you know me, asymmetrical horror games, I've been in the mood for them, but anyway, I want to try something a bit different. This is something a bit different I'm going to do on my channel, so right now, I'm going to go ahead and read the instructions before we begin the game, and enable sound. Okay. So as you can see, you can read all this. Its emotional character is probably mostly indescribable, except a sort of a double bind in which all the terms we associate with human agency, sitting or setting, doing or resting, speaking or keeping silent, living or dying, are not just unpleasant, but literally horrible. And yes, this is not meant to be fun or lighthearted, and it's not for the illness suffering or easily triggered. So the first of the game is twofold. And yes, they want to spread the awareness and fight it. And they want to make it a real simulation as possible. And this game uses audio, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the music on. And then we're going to actually, legitimately play the game. So let's go ahead and turn on the audio. Now, I turned it down in my recording. You should be able to hear me, so... Alright, this is a blind playthrough. I've never seen footage of this game. Let's get started. Alright, so it's early on a Monday morning. Okay, you're a mid-20s human being. You have a significant other named Alex. Okay. Oh, it tells you more information. Okay. The two of you hit it off pretty well first night. Alex is 3 months older than you are. Okay, so you're supposed to be a male then. Okay. I'm reading this, with my mind, so... Oof. Coupled with your parents to want to go to college first, this feature were not being exciting enough for them. Who have you found out that you've been seeing exclusively for the past few months? The rest of your social circle. Okay. Oof. Okay, I can read this. Because this thing, you probably don't see it, but it's blocking it, but I know what it says. Okay, online friends. Okay, friends and acquaintances you met at your day job. Oof. Minimum wage, and you don't have a job that you currently don't like. Okay. Okay, an older brother named Malcolm, who's moved across the country with his wife to work a high-paying job. Oof. Alright, the parents care about me. Oof. Okay. Alright, let's move on. It's an unsanitary Wednesday evening. Oh shit. It's an unseasonably warm Wednesday evening. You spent the past several hours at work. The past worker, so you found your job. Motivation for getting more so than usual. You've been... Oof. Time seemed to be moving at half speed. Wow. Even time seems to be faster for me. Oh god. The streets hiss from the recent rainfall. Subliminous solitude? What the hell? The project that you work in hospital for... Oof, we were at a bar, it looks like. Oh god, looks like I'm drunk. And I'm starting to lose depression. Alcohol, by the way, brings depression, so... Oh wow, we had an outburst. The shit me miss. Alright, at least I took the cab ride home safely. As soon as you think about the work that awaits you at home, you can feel the panic creeping from the back of your brain unbidden. All you can think about is how incredibly far behind you are, and the amount of work seems nothing less than unsurmountable. By the time you arrive at home and change out of your uncomfortable work clothes, the stress is weighing down like a heavy wet wool blanket. Your computer seems to be staring you down from your desk. You want to sit down and work, but the mere thought of trying to work sends your stress levels flying. More than anything, you feel suddenly and absolutely exhausted, and feel a strong desire to simply hide in bed. You're currently not taking medication for depression. You're currently not seeing a therapist. You're depressed. Interaction is exhausting, but you're becoming more and more withdrawn. Do you... Okay, I can't do this. Well, then sit down at your desk and try to make yourself do something. Turn on the TV. Telling yourself you just need a quick half an hour to unwind from work. Crawl into bed, you're so stressed and overrest, you couldn't possibly accomplish anything anyways. I wouldn't say 4. I could either do 2 or 3. Okay, let's see. I think I want to turn on the TV. Let's go for free. Just a half-hour TV. You tell yourself as absently grasping for the remote. You don't so much sit down on the couch as you think it. You turn on the TV and start going through your usual channel routine. After a few cycles of this, you realize that you're not doing much more than bunkers and absolutely killing time. You check the clock and see that over 20 minutes have already passed since you sat down. Oh my god. More and more anxious. Tell yourself you'll make a quick sandwich and get to work after that. As you eat, you start pacing around your apartment, heading past your bedroom in the process. Oh wow. As if you're physically unable to cross the threshold. Oh god. As long as I get to work in an hour, I'll have plenty of time to be productive. As you flip channels and let the SCSI and Jeopardy reruns wash over you, you sink deeper into the couch. Okay, so, little history before we begin. I actually watched Jeopardy as a kid before. I don't watch much, but I really love the show. I gotta watch it again. Maybe on YouTube again, too. I really love Jeopardy. Okay, as the second hour draws nearer, sure enough, you find yourself getting anxious and jittery. But we repeat the pace couch process a couple more times. Several hours have passed, and you manage to get no work done. Okay, I'm very aware of the fact that you have work in the morning, and that any opportunity... You're feeling so disgusted with yourself that when Alex calls to talk to you on her way home for class, you simply say you had a really rough day at work and you're trying to rest up before your shift tomorrow. She says she understands and wishes you a good night, though you can't help but to notice that she sounds slightly disappointed. The stress of potentially upsetting your partner compounds with the stress of not having gotten anything done this evening and the stress of having to go into work tomorrow. The buzzing of anxiety in your brain melts together with your body's other physical exhaustion, and you sink into a semi-hypergonic anxious funk, too tired to try and work, but too anxious to fall asleep for several hours. You are very depressed. You spend a large amount of time sleeping, hating yourself, and having very little energy and motivation. Oh, God. Next. Okay, Friday afternoon, she calls you from one of her classes, telling you there's going to be a really awesome birthday party tonight at her apartment, that one of her roommates is going. You hung out with this roommate a few times a week, so you get well known enough, but aren't particularly close. No work in the morning, nothing else particular to do tonight. You're feeling kind of run down, but you have been fatigued most of the time lately. You're feeling arrogant because you're not sure how else to explain these things to someone else, and say that you're unsure that you can make it tonight. There's a second silence over your phone, but you're sure you can hear the sound of your partner's face fall. She tries to convince you anyway. You haven't seen her this week, and she sounds pretty inconsistent that you come over. She even drops a few suggestively rare hints that you could stay over with them tonight after the party. Let's agree to go. You agree to go, even though you're not feeling really so sure. You know it's important to Alex, and you really like to see her. Seeing her does make you feel better sometimes, and you hope this is the case tonight, even if it does mean dealing with all the usual social anxiety. The time to leave rolls around and you grab your overnight bag. Alex's apartment is a short walk away, and there are already people hanging out on the porch. You feel your chest tighten as you approach the building and try to steal your nerves. You quickly find your partner, chatting away with the birthday girl, and Alex immediately lights up when she sees you. I'm so happy you came. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it. A young man taps her on the shoulder, and she turns back to you to apologize and lets you know they're going to have to do something for the party. Alex hands you a bill and plants a kiss on your cheek before going off to do whatever come up with. As you look around, you don't see anyone else you recognize. I don't want to drink, so don't do that. Cling to the back wall, sip your beer, and wait for your girlfriend to return. Awkwardly stand in the safe while unsure what else to do. I think I'm going to put my bag in Alex's room and avoid the crowd in there for a while. Let's do that. You take your beer and shift through the crowd until you arrive at Alex's room. The room is actually empty of other partygoers, and you sit on the bed as you set your bag down. Thankful for the personal space and feeling a lot less catastrophic, you mess around on your phone while you sip your beer. Oh God, well, I just drank beer and I'm drunk. You keep telling yourself that you go back out in 5 more minutes. But every time the time rolls around to go back out, you feel the panic creep in and you stay rooted to the spot. You figure no one here knows you anyway, so it's unlikely that you will be missed. A few minutes later, Alex comes into the room. Oh, there you are. I was wondering where you got off to. Figured I might find you here. She sits down on the bed next to you, buzzed enough to be slurring slightly. I'm really glad you turned up tonight. To be honest, I really didn't think you should. It's really cool you did. Really. You know she meant it lovely, but you're not quite sure how you feel about that statement. It's a little afternoon on a muggy Saturday. Your mother has come over for a surprise visit, claiming loudly that she doesn't see you enough, so she decided to invite herself over. As you converse, she walks around your face and you get the distinct impression that you're being expected. So what's going on with you lately? She asked abruptly. Taken somewhat aback to this left fielder. Ugh. Sorry guys, my mouth is gonna be freaking working talking, because this is a text-based game. Text-based games were back in the day in the 80s, so They were quite awesome and revolutionary at the time, but holy crap, you have to read this out loud? You might as well read it in your mind. But yeah, I want to read this out loud, but let's see. You haven't seemed like yourself lately. Gestures to the dirty dishes. Called or visited in a while. You haven't. Spur her on more. Presses you. Problems with work or Alex. You're beginning to feel increasingly battered by her sudden well-meaning but overwhelming intuition. You want to be able to explain how you're feeling, but the truth is you're not really sure about yourself. Nothing horrific has happened to you at work or your significant or friends or anything like that. You can't deny that you just felt draining as though you're not really here. Megan emotions of she's the kind of person. Okay, so you're kind of reluctant to tell your mother. So I could change the subject, tell her, let's just be honest. You attempt to tell your mother how you're feeling, despite initial beginnings that you're about doing so. Finding the right words about how you're feeling feels like you're trying to untangle Christmas lights, searching for the dead bulb current maps. She wonders if you're turning your verbally signs before you clearly articulate anything. Unfortunately, she reacts predictably. An attitude like that won't get you anywhere. You need to work harder instead of at getting what you want, instead of sitting around feeling sad about it. Nothing good will happen unless you make it happen. She isn't angry or spiteful if she tells you this. You try to explain. It's not a matter of that. So she doesn't understand how simple it is to be positive at work, however. You accept your defeat and the conversation drifts onto other subjects. She leaves out to charting you to call her more often and take better of yourself. You sigh heavily as you close the door behind her and spend the next few hours laying in bed staring at the ceiling. Lazy Saturday morning, you're literally clicking around online as your phone rings. Sam, a co-worker, you're waiting for impatient for him to ask you to come in short notice when he veers the conversation in a completely different direction. How do you feel about cats, he asks. Mine had kittens a few weeks ago, and I'm having an awfully hard time finding a home for the last one of the litter. You don't have any pets, right? It takes you a moment to process this new information. You're caught off guard as he begins to earnestly try to sell you on the idea of taking the last kitten off his hands. It's not something that you had specifically considered before, and he seems fairly insistent. She's a real sweetheart. Really loves people. She's got her sharks already taken care of, and the vet said she's healthy as a horse. I can bring her over by your place tonight if you're interested. You look around your apartment and try to picture Cat in it as he continues to tell you about how cute she is. You tell him that this is all kind of sudden, that you don't have anything for the kittens out there. Oh, don't worry about that. I can bring a little box of food and all that since you will be helping me out of the fix. It's the least I could do. I don't want to have to put her in the shelter. You can't help but feel like you're being guilt-tripped, but you decide to give it some serious consideration. It does get awfully lonely around your apartment. You feel might less empty with a cat around. However, since you've been feeling so down, it might not be a good idea to take on a responsibility with a cat, even if they're fairly low maintenance. Become a cat, however, you can use the companionship. Decline, you're not in a good enough place to be taking on more responsibility right now. Decline, you don't like cats. Let's become a cat owner and see what happens. You accept the offer of the kitten, and hang up shortly after making arrangements when your coworker can drop her off tonight. After hanging up, you're worried about if you're suddenly taking on a responsibility that you can't handle, and hope you don't make a son or suffer for it. You're not unsure of what to expect, and you spend the rest of the afternoon researching cat care online to try to think of a name. The evening rolls around and you hear a knock on your door, starting you out of reading Wikipedia entirely too hard. Possession of a small, terrified black and white kitten in the carrier, along with everything you need to start taking care of her. Into the bedroom, close the door, open the door to the carrier, etc. She cowers at the back of it and you back off. Feeling slightly defeated, remember what you research on introducing the kid into a home and leave her alone to go mess around on your computer. Hopefully check on your shoulder every now and then to see if she has come out yet. She hides inside her carry-up Hiyakuen, making suffer cat owls long enough for you to start worrying that she already doesn't like you. But by the time you go to bed, she's curled up at the foot of it, eyeing you nervously before you're falling asleep. Over the next few days, you gain her trust, and she begins affectionately following you around, sleeping on you, and helping on you anytime you sit down to do some work. Late Friday afternoon, quitting time is just around the corner. A bright, clear day is giving way to a still, temperate evening. You can hear your co-workers all around you anxiously making plans for the evenings and weekends. But you're already looking forward to just going home and resting after what's turned out to be a very long and taxing work week. You get a call from Alex at the end, just before the end of your shift. Mutual friends are heading out to a nearby pub for dinner and drinks to show at the end of the week. They want to know if you'd like to come along. You tell her that you're emotionally exhausted from the work week. Social like that would just take too much out of you today. Encourage her to go and have a good time, since you know it's been a while since she's gone out with friends. But the effort feels futile, since you know she isn't going to go at you. A couple hours later, two of you find yourselves in a familiar position, couch, comedy shows on Netflix, box of pizza, cafeteria. As you look around across the couch at her, you start to feel anxious. You feel bad about effectively forcing two of you to stay in tonight again. Well, you always appreciate your partner's efforts to take your feelings into account and help make sure you socially comfort her. You sense the reward that you're holding her back from enjoying a more fulfilling relationship. She does seem to enjoy spending time with you as the two of you sit in comfortable, almost contented silence watching old shows you've seen 2 or 3 times before. Your ever-increasing fear that your relationship is becoming one-sided weighs more and more heavily on you. You feel more than ever like a burden or a word to her. It's virtually impossible for you to see what value you could possibly offer to her in return. Worst of all, this nagging fear has made you feel more self-conscious than ever, withdrawing ever inwards, and you start to pull away even from Alex herself. Ask Alice if she's happy with the relationship. Don't say anything. You're already worried about her being upset with you. I'm gonna ask her if she's happy with my relationship. You look over at Alex, who hasn't noticed you watching her yet. And you try to progress the expression on her face. You worry that's one of the sheer bone and bare tolerance. You wonder if she's faking all about the fun things she could have been doing tonight if she wasn't trapped on this couch with you, ordering from one of the same free takeout places that you always order from. A sense of disappointing her creeps over you as you picture what the night could have been if you had just accepted the invitation she had made earlier. I know this is a pretty boring Friday night for you. Are you really, really happy being with me? Being like this? She turns to look at you, forehead wrinkled. Why do you ask me that so often? You feel her body stiffen and pull away from yours just a little. Well, I mean, you start, but are able to try and think of how to answer. I don't know. I guess I get kind of worried that you're getting bored sometimes. Alex sighs. Look, if that were the case, I would let you know. I don't think you're boring. You're more of a homebody than I am. I'm learning how to deal with that. Deal with it? You think? Repeating in your mind. Does she see you as a problem to be dealt with? You try to pick her reply apart in your mind, and all the conclusions lead to your previous worry that you're holding her back. You begin thinking that the phrasing is chosen without too much deliberation, and that, despite attempts at reassuring you, the slip of the tongue revealed her true feelings. As you picture how much fun she would be having right now, if you only accepted her degradation and managed to somehow get over your reservations, despite not knowing how you would go about that. She cuddles back up to you. Thanks for putting up with me, you say, staring at the TV without actually watching it. She sighs in response. You are deeply depressed. Even activities you used to enjoy held little or no interest for you, and you exist in a near-consistent state of lethargy. It's a breezy Saturday afternoon. You allowed Amanda, an old friend from school that is in town for the weekend, to talk you into leaving the house for coffee and catch up. You meet her in a small cafe and talk about what you've been up to since you last seen each other. You can't help but feel like they're a lot more accomplished and interesting than you are while listening to them talk about their life after school. When it's your turn to brief on your activities, you feel anxious and ashamed and give a very abbreviated version. You try to talk about your job as little as possible. You feel incredibly bored while you describe it, despite her expressing sincere interest in you and your life. Amanda has known you not enough to read your mood and tone of voice. She leans in to ask a question while gently touching your hand, a look of genuine concern on her face. What's wrong? Do you insist that nothing's wrong and change the subject? Defensively ask what she means by that. Notice that your hands are shaking. I'm going to choose notice that your hands are shaking. It's such a small question, but it feels like a blow to the gut. You surprise yourself when you realize that your tightly grinned fissures are now beginning to shake slightly. Despite your best efforts, you feel tears begin to stain your eyes. You try to disguise this by tilting your head up and praying that they'll suck back in. She suggests that you two get out of there, and you feel mortified. She offers to go back to your apartment with you, but the two of you end up talking in her car for 2 hours as the words just pour forth from you. Amanda seems unsure of what to say at times, but she listens and rubs your back as you sob and talk. She asks if you've gone to a doctor about this, and you admit that you haven't. She mentions that your mother is seeing a very good therapist in town, and offers to ask her about it. You're not thrilled about the idea of going to a therapist, and even less thrilled that Amanda might be telling someone about your problems. But she persists and tells you she'll email you the doctor's contact information later in the week. It's a very sunny Monday, and one of the few days your brother Malcolm was in town free enough for you to two actually see each other. You have a dinner appointed that day, but you make plans for him to pick you up afterward. It takes a little longer than expected. Tells you started grinding your teeth and you're sleeping to a worried degree. Feeling nervous and stressful lately, this doesn't come as a surprise to you. Try to reduce your stress levels and fit you for a night guard. Feels awkward, too big for your mouth, and you feel embarrassed looking at your puffed out face in the mirror with it in. You finish the appointment in a hurry and leave about a half an hour overdue. For meeting, you'll always punch your brother in the parking lot. You finish up quickly as possible and leave the building to scan the parking lot for your brother's car. But you don't see his old Civic anywhere. You pass by blue Camaro. By the way, they misspelled Camaro wrong. It's with an A, not an E. And jump on it as it beeps at you, causing you to jump in surprise. It takes you for a moment to realize it, but it's Malcolm in the driver's seat. You hop in the passenger seat and comprehend on his new ride, and he mentions that it's a perk of a promotion he's recently attained at work. He starts telling you about how much more money he's making, how his career is taking off, and how he's starting to look at houses with his wife soon. You clutch the bag containing the night guard in your hand, and furiously clench your teeth as you think about your crummy apartment and how long it's been since you've been able to take a day off work without having to worry about making men eat. He's only 2 years older than you, but it feels like he's eons ahead of you in every other aspect of your lives. So, he asked, how did your appointment go? Did you get Drew full of holes or what? I'll tell him the truth. The dentist said I'm apparently grinding my teeth too much when I sleep. Oh, Malcolm replies. Been stressed out lately, Kildo? Deciding that you really don't want to go into it, you tell him that you don't think that's the case, it's probably just a random fate. He does a brag photo, Stens begins reminiscing about the time you chipped the baby suit because he accidentally knocked over you once. You go out for dinner and catch up on things, but you still feel somewhat distracted by the knowing anxiety in the back of your mind. Though you enjoy your brother's company, you still feel like you want nothing more than to go home and hide from the world tonight. It becomes hard for you to try stuff of your horrible feelings on inside your head. It leaves you feeling embarrassed and weak. And you hate yourself for feeling that way. You wonder if you really fooled anyone into thinking that you're a normal person. And then you wonder if your brother knows and is hanging out with you out of pity tonight. After he drops you off back up for your apartment, you pull the night guard out. You can't even stand to look at that thing. Okay. Alright, can I save here? Hopefully I can save, but I'm gonna stop here. Hopefully when I come back, we will pick off when we left off here. So right now, I'm going to stop for part 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.